What's going on, party people? Welcome to the 3D. 3D. What an amazing weekend of Premier League soccer we had on our hands. My gosh, glory, glory, Man United. We'll get to that in just a moment, but I just want to hope and wish everyone a safe and sound storm weekend, ice, whatever you had, snow, ice, both. I hope you're safe and sound. I hope you have power. I hope you are warm and cozy. Now, back to the mission at hand. That is the 3D. 3D. The Drew Dickinson Diatribe is up and running, and it was an incredible weekend, like I said, of Premier League soccer. But, of course, the main topic of this show, each and every show, my beloved Manchester United, with the victory over the league-leading Arsenal Gunners. 3-2 was the score yesterday. United came out on top at the Emirates. What a fascinating 90-plus minutes of soccer. Arsenal taking the lead early. United capitalizing off of a very rare Arsenal mistake in the back, allowing Bryan Mbeumo to put one in the back of the net. You go into halftime tied 0-0. Come out, switch sides. Controversial call with VAR. You came to see that wasn't controversial at all after an absolute worldy strike from outside the box by Patrick Dorgu, who is playing just absolutely fantastic. 3 goals on the season for the youngster who came over the very first transfer under Ruben Amorim, and we are now in the AA era. Seems like United just needed a little bit of an attitude adjustment with Michael Carrick taking over as the manager until the end of the season. And it showed that the adjustment clearly worked. After the Dorgu goal, it forced Mikel Arteta to make a lot of changes. I believe it was 4 changes he made with Gyökeres. I believe it was Eze. He also brought on Ben White and also Marino. So 3 attackers and a defender, bringing off Odegaard, which was surprising to me. It just seems like every time Odegaard plays against Man United, at least recently, from my take, he hasn't really found himself much. But with that being said, the reinforcements come on, and didn't really make much noise off the bat. Arteta brings in another reinforcement in Madueke. He comes and plays out wide right, forcing Saka, who was inside the pocket of Luke Shaw and Patrick Dorgu for the entire game. Saka goes over to the left side, and while Arteta had made his substitutions, Michael Carrick made 1 substitution, and he brings on Matheus Cunha for Bryan Mbeumo, who once again scored a goal, got his 8th of the season. And with Cunha coming on, kind of amped up the pressure a little bit for Arsenal. They, unfortunately, equalize from a corner. That was their 15th set-piece goal, league leading of the season. 15 set pieces, and I would, beg to differ that they all weren't from corners. So 2-2, and not too much longer after that, Matheus Cunha scores, which I believe is his 5th goal of the season. An absolute worldie himself from outside the 18, curls it to the bottom right corner. Just unbelievable shot, unbelievable goal, unbelievable moment for Manchester United. The 90-minute marker came. Referee added 7 minutes to that 90. And it didn't matter. Manchester United held on, secured the victory, and it continued Arsenal's woes as being winless in the league for a few games now, Manchester United, under their new manager, Michael Carrick, have beaten Manchester City and now beaten Arsenal. And it's a great feeling. United have climbed into the top four with 38 points. The top four round out is Arsenal with 50 points, Manchester City with 46 points, Aston Villa 46 points in third place, City on top out of goal differential with that one. United sitting in fourth place, just 1 point above fifth place Chelsea. We'll get back to the interesting Premier League table in just a moment. I just want to give United a little bit more cookies because they are the first team that have won at the Emirates this season. The other two winless games, if you want to call that, for Arsenal earlier this season, where, of course, when Liverpool and City went to the Emirates and both left with draws. First team to score 3 goals over Arsenal in over 3 years at the Emirates. We'll say that one more time. In the last 3 years, United have been the first team to score 3 goals at the Emirates. Arsenal won 24 of 24 games. They went up 1-0 before today. United broke that 24-game streak. And United are it's their first league win at the Emirates since 2017. Remember, last season, United defeated Arsenal at the Emirates via penalty kicks in the FA Cup. Just, again, a lot of that is, pretty incredible. 25 games, 24 wins, just 1 loss when Arsenal score first in all competitions this season. So United, last couple of weeks, have really turned up the gas, if you will, because they are on fire. And it's just, like I say, the last win was at the Emirates in 2017 under Jose Mourinho. Remember Antonio Valencia getting a goal and Jesse Lingard scoring and then doing the freaking Millie Rock at the Emirates under the lights. That was incredible. But the thing that I remember the most about that 2017 game, before we get back to current times, was the red card that Paul Pogba received. And for me, for my eyes, that red card changed the history of Paul Pogba at Manchester United. Ever since then, his stock just went completely down, whether it was on the field or off the field. He just wasn't the same. If you don't believe me, go back and watch some of the United games and watch the media since post-red card Pogba to pre-red card Pogba. Now, listen, I know he was media frenzy, but post that, I don't think he was ever the same. Now, as I said before, Arsenal's first home loss all season, first league win at the Emirates since 2017, beat the top 2 teams in the league the last 2 weeks. Patrick Dorgu, it's insane what the kid's doing. He went from playing the left wing back under Ruben Amorim, and Ruben even calling him out, saying, basically, I don't think the kid's got it. Now Michael Carrick has the kid playing as a left winger, and he scored in back-to-back games. And this game against Arsenal scored an absolute stinking worldie that just tipped under the crossbar and goes into the goal. Patrick Dorgu playing fantastic. Harry Maguire. Thomas Tuchel, you better keep your eye on this guy, because with the World Cup right around the corner and the uncertainty of John Stones and other English center backs at the current moment, Harry Maguire, man of the match and well-deserved. He has, the last 18 months, Harry Maguire has played like 2018 World Cup Harry Maguire. The Harry Maguire, which we spent £90 million on after that World Cup in the summer of 2018. Basically the big first signing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and, made him captain. This Harry Maguire right here that we're seeing has become the best version of Harry Maguire. And I don't know if it's, Michael Carrick morphing back into the back 4 from a back 5 under Ruben Amorim. But even under Amorim, Harry was playing fantastic. Matheus Cunha, second game coming off the bench under Michael Carrick. Second game scoring a goal off the bench for Cunha under Michael Carrick. And again, this one Sunday afternoon was an absolute howitzer, an absolute stunner, unsavable. David Raya will tell you that as well. And I don't know what it is about dancing at the Emirates, but he goes in the corner and starts surfing, starts riding the wave. And it's just so exciting. He's such an exciting player. Him and Brian Mbeumo have just become absolute massive game players, not just for Man United, but in all of Europe this season. Kobbie Mainoo, once again, covered more ground on the field than anyone else on the pitch, did the same thing for Manchester City. And I've been begging and pleading for all season long for the kid to get a chance. Michael Carrick has given him the chance, well-deserved. The midfield, Casemiro still has those old legs. It'd be so much more promising with a midfield with the likes of a Wharton or an Anderson or even a Carlos Baliba to play next to Kobbie Mainoo to kind of speed things up. But nonetheless, you got the win. Casemiro set extra deep most of the games against City. He was subbed out for Ugarte. He played 97 minutes yesterday, guys. Did Casemiro. Didn't make very many mistakes. Like I said, he set deep most of the time. And Kobbie was able to be a little bit of the maestro by finding the feet of the wingers and, more importantly, Bruno Fernandes, who was playing extremely high and really wanting to press a lot of the second half. Excuse me, sorry about that. Now, the game didn't really get going until about 28 minutes, until that first goal for Arsenal. Then things really, really got going throughout the game. As I said, Kobbie Mainoo played fantastic. Bruno played fantastic again, both leaving with assists. Mbeumo scoring once again. And it was just great, guys. Going down 1-1, not looking very promising up until that first goal was scored. And then the Zubamendi mistake in the back, allowing Mbeumo to capitalize, beat Raya to the right side, tie things up, and United just, nothing to lose. The way they were set up to play for Michael Carrick, 4-4-2, and 4-4-2 out of possession, and with possession, kind of like a counter-attacking team with that 4-4-3. And, Ahmad today didn't have a very good game. He was substituted. Excuse me. He just didn't have a good game. Patrick Dorgu was substituted for the likes of Benjamin Sesko. Now, we saw Dorgu go down right after the right before the Cunha goal. And from the words of Carrick this morning, hoping it's nothing more than just a cramp, he was holding on to the back of that hamstring and, didn't get much word after the game, but this morning they were saying they're hoping it's nothing more than a cramp because Dorgu playing fantastic. It will be a shame to see him go out with an injury. But, after going down 2-2, responding to win the game 3-2 at the Emirates, away against the best team in Europe, just unbelievable. And look, Arsenal only scored one goal because it was an own goal, the first goal by Lisandro Martinez, who, other than that just unfortunate mistake, there's a lot of pressure on him from Urian Timber, who is in the 6-yard box up from his right wing position, which you don't usually see very much, but a lot of aggression and just an unfortunate mistake from Liche, which he doesn't make much. So you can kind of let that slide on his part. But like I said, we were talking about how it was the first time United won at the Emirates since 2017, the first time anybody has defeated Arsenal at the Emirates this season. What a win for Manchester United. What a win for Michael Carrick. We know he only has until the end of the season. So what? He's got the guys playing really, really good soccer, and it's very fun to see because it just looks like they're free. They're not being overloaded with information on how to play a certain formation as opposed to having the ball at their feet. Michael Carrick told the hierarchy at United he's going to take a different approach to training. Instead of longer sessions, he's going to go shorter with higher intensity. And you see how it's paying off. United have Fulham Sunday the 1st at 9 a.m. back at Old Trafford. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about regarding the incredible Premier League table. So, of course, like I said, Arsenal, top of the league, 50 points. City, second. Villa, third. United, fourth. 4 points between first and third. And between United's 38 points all the way down to Bournemouth, who sit 13th with 30. 8-point gap from Sunderland, who sit 10th, all the way up to United, who are 4th with 38. Sunderland with 35. A 5-point gap. So the ride that this season is going to take us on to find out who's going to get Champions League, who's going to get Europa League, who's going to get Conference League is just going to be extremely exciting. Let's read some of the results from the weekend, shall we? Because it can just give you a little bit of an insight onto how the season is going so far. Remember, I say all the time that Arsenal post-Christmas are just a completely different team, and it's just uncertain if if they are able to always keep that momentum going. Here, let me pull up the schedule from the weekend. Hold on, things are taking just a wee bit too long. Technology, the ice, you know how it is. I should have had it pulled up. Very unprofessional, but I was looking at other stuff. All right, so we had United Arsenal 3-2. United, obviously, United with the victory. Brentford at Nottingham Forest at Brentford. Forest leave 2-0. Villa keep their winning ways alive as they went to St. James's Park and defeated Newcastle 2-0. Crystal Palace, who, man, just not even a year ago, last May, they were beating City to win the FA Cup. Now, Glasner has lost all of his, almost all of his players, and he's upset with the board for not replacing much of them. I mean, it started with Olise, and it just trickled down to recently Gahey going to City. Chelsea defeats Crystal Palace on the road 3-1. Bournemouth defeating Liverpool in the 95th minute 3-2. Arne Slot says, look, should have been more time in extra time, and the lads are just tired. Well, I'll leave you to that. Whatever you think of that. And Man City, of course, flying past Wolves 2-0. Burnley, Tottenham 2-2 draw. Thomas Frank having Sergio Romero save him at the death to secure a draw. Fulham defeat Brighton 2-1, and West Ham put 3 on Sunderland, who hasn't looked very promising as of late. And look, I'll be honest, not too worried about it because it just continues to add more confidence to my beloved Manchester United, who, like I said, they have Fulham next time out Sunday, 9 a.m. back at Old Trafford. We'll see what Michael Carrick and the lads have in store for the home crowd. We know what United can do and what they always do against big teams. They get up and go, get ready, and make it fairly simple for themselves, if you will. What I want to see is how Carrick gets them up for a team like Fulham on Sunday after 2 incredible victories against the top 2 teams in the league. That's the test for me for the near future for this Man United team. Just a couple of quick notes before we get out of here this afternoon. Casemiro, before the Arsenal game, sent out a press release. He is officially leaving the club at the end of the season. Club wasn't going to renew. I mean, the wages and the age, and look, with that wage drop off of probably about $350,000 a week, it puts United in pole position to bring in a couple of more players, with recent talks, if we're going to keep up with, the same sort of talk, recent talks regarding signings and whatnot. Manchester City are interested in Elliot Anderson. Liverpool interested in Wharton, or maybe it's vice versa. Don't quote me on that, but I know both of those teams interested in both of those players. And let's be honest, if they decide to go for either or, that's where the player is going to go. We had recent kind of just rumblings. I don't really know where they came from as a part to him being a lifelong United fan. Cole Palmer is said to be unhappy at Chelsea. He wants out, would prefer a move to United. Again, take that with what you may. I'm just, you know, I doubt that very, 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 very highly. Would it be great? Sure. But I don't see Chelsea allowing that to happen unless something absolutely drastic comes out in the media. Other than that, not much news generated as far as transfers. I wasn't able to get on last week when news broke about a secret midfielder who reported by, I believe it was Ben Jacobs. And basically, it came out to be United were offered Ruben Loftus-Cheek from AC Milan on loan for the end of the season, or Wilfred Ndidi wants to come back to the Premier League from Leicester City, who are in the Championship. Again, Glazernomics, swing low, definitely don't throw a fastball. Whatever. I don't know if that's true or if it's untrue. I haven't heard much from Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein regarding extreme positivity. But with the last two results for United and a real chance, guys, a real chance to capture Champions League for next season, with fifth place looking like it will do so, you just really hope that Ineos, the Glazers, Sir Jim, Barada, Wilcox, they're watching, and they're going to bring in some reinforcements for Michael Carrick. But again, I'm not going to hold my breath. Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the AA era has commenced. It has begun. The after Amorim era is here. United, like I said earlier, maybe they just needed a little attitude adjustment. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, Michael Carrick is looking in the mirror and saying, you can't see me. Look, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on this edition of the Drew Dickinson Diatribe. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Drewski Jr. 18. Of course, please follow the brand at Soccer Down Here on all forms of social media. And of course, Soccer Down Here, wherever you get your podcasts, please make sure to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and you'll get the ding about the release of each and every 3D. Stay safe. Enjoy. If your business was closed, enjoy your Monday off. Mine was closed, so I'm here at home relaxing, trying to stay warm myself. I hope you all do the same. We'll get at you next week, sometime before the Fulham game. All right? Talk to you soon. Like always, Drewski. Ow. Great dick.